freshman D-line that will make an instant impact. Coach, you know I love the subject, man. When you talk about big guys up front, you got to get to the quarterback, but you also got to protect the quarterback. And the fastest way to get on the field and the easiest position group to get on the field, defensive linemen. They got 6 inches, go north, get the guy off you, locate the ball carrier, either the running back or the quarterback, and get him on the ground. So, Coach, let's get to this thing, man. Let's unpack it.
Some great defensive linemen here, Smoke. I mean, when you talk about these are all guys that I project to play in the National Football League. I know you do too. Their coaches are raving about them. Let's talk first, Smoke, about Lee Summit North, product from the state of Missouri, the great state of Missouri, not from the St. Louis side, from the Kansas City side, but that's okay. Williams DeMary. Smoke, give me your thoughts on this young defensive line product.
Well, Coach, I broke him down earlier this year. And when you first just initially turn the film on, the thing that you see out of him is overall size and length. When I say length, I mean arm width, right? Wingspan. He's like a condor out there. Then you get to it and you start watching him more and start studying him. You see this individual at 6'6", 257. He's an early enrollee, Coach, so you know he at least put 20 pounds on. Grown man. His ability on first and second down to play defensive end and set the edge. But, Coach, here's the beauty of his game. You can stick him inside now as a 3 technique, and he can get busy in terms of initial quickness, one gap, penetrate, relocate. Coach, the only thing I would say with him that he needs to improve when he watches film is his overall ability to strike, his strength, his get off to locate and find the ball. Like you just saw in that clip. Sometimes in high school, you can sit on that block and play with it. But in college, you got to shop, shed, get rid of them. Violently get rid of them and get to the daggone ball carrier. But, Coach, in terms of instant impact, rotational guy, by game 6 or 7, I wouldn't be surprised if he started.
When you talk about hand usage for young defensive linemen, that's something that a lot of them struggle with because they don't have to engage as much in high school because so many offensive linemen run away from them and run out of their way because they don't want the collision with those big time prospects. But when you can master hand placement, when you can master attacking the V of the neck, taking on half the man, it elevates your game. So when he adds those things to his bag, which he will because he has great defensive line coaches where he at, I think, Smoke, that the sky is the limit for that young man. Let's
No
go
doubt about
with
it.
I love this kid when I watched him on tape this season. I actually was able to catch a couple of his games live. Talk to me about David Stone from IMG at the University of Oklahoma.
Ooh, Coach. Listen, early enrollee. Birdie on the street told me he came in 270, 280-ish. Coach, he's 300 pounds right now. In the 2 deep. Rotating already. Cat-like quick. One gap penetrate in terms of being that 3 technique. Coach, stuff. Pad level's good. Now, the only thing that I'm going to say with this young guy, David Stone, that when you watch his film, what he needs to improve on is his consistent hand usage, strike, stay in that V to neck, pad level low, with the ability now, once he gets in there, to start reading blocking surfaces and also blocking scheme. Defensive lineman, the number one thing that you want to do is understand what a pull looks like, what a wedge block looks like when the guy's trying to come off and double team you, and what you have to do. And Coach, that's his task. That's his time on task in terms of a defensive lineman. But when you talk about goods in terms of one gap penetrating disruptor, cat quick off the ball, Coach, he the one. He next up, Coach.
David Stone is the kind of kid, Smoke. I was a high school coach. David Stone is the kind of guy that you hope his parents show up at your office and say, my son is David Stone, and he's here to play football for you. We all want a guy like that. You talked about his hand placement. That's a big thing. You're going to probably hear that theme coming up over and over again for kids. Let's go to Dylan Stewart. This guy, Smoke. Let's talk about him.
Coach, Friendship Collegiate out in D.C. Now, listen, you call me whatever you want to, but what you're not going to call me is a guy that don't understand what elite ability looks like. Coach, I wouldn't be shocked 3 years from now that we roll this back. he's in the top 10 in terms of players coming off the board in the NFL draft. Coach, I challenged him his junior year in terms, he came up to the University of Maryland camp. Wasn't going to do anything, Coach. Flat out, man, Smoke, I ain't going to. I said, man, you telling me they saying you the goods and you won't even test for me? He came out 6'5", 250. Coach, he broad jumper 10.5. Vertical to 36 and ran a 4.56 on my clock, and it's slow. And then you cut the film on. You see a big guy that can bend, explode, locate the ball carrier, and go get him. And again, he was in there for spring. Coach, when you watch him in the spring, he looked like this was his third or second year in college football. Just his natural athletic ability and his first step get off and his cat-like quickness. Coach, the most gifted guy out of this entire group. Now, here's the hiccup. When you have talented guys like that, Coach, they tend to take plays off. But once you get the right coach with him, fuel him with that energy, desire to go hunt the ball carrier and understand hand placement, strike, get off, and I have to play the run in order to earn the right to rush the passer, Coach, he's going to be a problem in the SEC. Left tackles, right tackles, get ready for this young man. And I ain't saying it because he's from the city. I'm saying it because it's the truth.
Dylan Stewart is that kind of kid that gets the O-line coach cussed out at practice every single day. He makes the head coach want to fire his O-line coach 10 times a practice with the way he comes off the ball and plays. Smoke, this guy here, I was as impressed with him as any guy that I saw on the defensive line. And he has some versatility that he make him play a couple spots. Talk to me about Jaden Jackson out of IMG that's also headed to Oklahoma.
Coach, what Todd Bates has right now is a tandem. Going back to when he had Dex and he had Chris. This is your classic 4-3 no. Coach. And if you went to 3-4 in the odd front, he can do that too. But in terms of just big, thick, athletic, stout at the point of attack, it was a problem getting them blocked right now during spring. The 6'2", 295. Coach, right now he's 315. Rock solid, ready to go to work. He's in the 2 deep. So you know he's going to get on the field. And when he does get on the field, Coach, I don't know if you're going to get him off of the field. Coach, he couldn't be blocked at times during drills when he's out and he's there and doing spring ball. This is a natural, thick, heavy-handed, low pad level, built from the ground up, meaning that he's concrete poured from his feet on up. You're not moving him, but he has cat-like quickness when it's time to go to work in terms of pass rushing and getting off the block. Not the highest rated guy, but when we cut this film on by the end of the year, might be the one that gets the most and become the most impactful defensive lineman. Not highly regarded. Everyone likes the guy to get sacks, but you and I both know, in order to be a great defense, you got to stop the daggone ball from being ran down your throat.
And he does that for sure. He's the guy that's going to come in there and do that. That was a great
Coach, at the end of the day, I'm going to let you know like this. Before I even go there, Todd Bates is steadily developing his guys.